Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am going to be doing an energy read. There's a lot going on right now in between these eclipses. The solar eclipse that we had in December in Capricorn, and the lunar eclipse that is coming up in Cancer. Cancer actually happens to be my sun sign, and Capricorn is actually my moon sign. Me in particular right now, there's definitely a lot of energy, and you know, it feels like it's right in the middle of it. There's a lot of rearranging. Sometimes it seems like a kind of a windy storm approaching, shuffling things around, rearranging, reorganizing. It seems like the eclipse that's about to come up in Cancer is, finishing out or completing on the other side of what might have been sparked with the solar eclipse that took place in December. It seems like now would be a good time to just do an energy read here, pull some cards, get a few messages here in terms of where the energy is in regards to the person that you are thinking about right now. Again, twin flame, soulmate, love, reading, love, connection. Really, love is all the same. This is really just for the person that you're thinking about, in particular right now. Solar eclipses often tend to bring faded moments, moments that happen to have like a sort of electromagnetic charge, things that are kind of meant to be, things that we are drawn to but also draw us to them. And for a lot of the twin flame energies, it seems like, there's been a tremendous amount of stagnation, and at the same time there's growth. There's been a lot of growth for both sides in the twin flame soulmate relationship. No, I'm going to say this in terms of twin flame and soulmates. I have believed to be on a twin flame journey for some time now. Now I'm going to say that, when I was younger, when I was a little girl, I always believed there was this one person for me. And in fact, Spirit had a way of showing me again and again who this person was, that they were in fact out there, and things that I would experience in the future, and I think even things as they were at the time when I was a child, and I don't think that I really truly understood, but I always believed and knew and felt that I was on my way to something, to someone, to some kind of great love. And I would say that especially in the last 6 months. So 6 months ago we had a pair of eclipses in Cancer and Capricorn. Cancer being the solar eclipse and Capricorn being the lunar. And now we're on the flip side of that. And for me, there's been a tremendous amount of growth personally, and even within just my perception, in my lens of looking at love relationships, which have probably been the greatest source of lessons in my life. I'm definitely someone who has always believed in love, and not just in my romantic relationships, but I've had many people, whether they were family or friends, people that I've loved dearly, um, and a lot of my catalytic action and the directions that I've taken in life, decisions that I've made, they've all surrounded love. And I've had very strong relationships romantically with significant others. Lots of passion, um, lots of sort of affinity and magnetism, and it's taken me some time to clearly understand what a lot of this energy is, how things have played out, and ultimately where I was supposed to sort of center and settle in regards to these energies that I've cycled through in my life. Lots of fire, lots of water, lots of earth, and the air too. The air that has definitely come through. Usually when the air comes, it's very fast and much like a tornado. I don't get too many, it seems like, gentle breezes. But nevertheless, all of these elements, have been great teachers for me. And what I've understood and kind of going through these things and dismantling or going through pain and injury and destruction and having to rebuild again and again and again in these lessons, like what I've learned is that it is all about what you make. Now more than ever before, I understand that it really was a potential that I was being shown. The potential of love, in its highest form. And maybe you even meet someone and you believe that person is your twin flame. And maybe they could be, but maybe they never are until we truly, down to this earth. And I think that's something that the Capricorn solar eclipse is showing us, because Capricorn, Capricorn is very earth-based. Capricorn in the tarot is represented by the devil. And, in tarot, the devil card shows two people chained. And, some people might think that that's an element of slavery. Some people might think that that's, being held to toxic things as represented by the devil. But to whatever degree, there is a real weaving, an interweaving that takes place when we, as spiritual beings, create and manifest and are to be, alchemists, truly alchemists. Alchemists are creators. Alchemists are ones who understand that the etheric realm, or what we believe to be the etheric realm, which is really who we are. We're taking something inside of us, and some might say it's above us. Some might say it's in heaven, as above, so below. But it's inside of us. It's inside of us, and it's sort of it's an externalization of something that is inside. Something that an alchemist would term to be gold. And I think that the twin flame relationship is that gold, that potential, that ability for us to cultivate, that gold inside of us, recognize it, cultivate it, and it's work, and it takes time too. It really does. Anything worth anything takes time. That's also something that Capricorn will teach you, and Capricorn is willing to put in that work. But in terms of a lot of beliefs about twin flame relationships and soulmates, it's very fantastical. Some of the best love relationships are the ones that, you hurt each other, but you work through it. And it's not it's not the beginning passion, it's not the honeymoon phase, it's not even necessarily the injury or hurting each other in pain. It's when you really decide to turn that pain into something else, to be a transformer. And when we are so affected, when we're so impressed upon in our relationships with someone, when someone hits us so close, hits us so deep in a way that we can't ignore. We simply can't ignore, what is inside of us. We cannot ignore our truths. We cannot ignore who we are. Life seems to kind of be a constant having to shed things that we've misunderstood, and they need to be transformed. They need to be transformed to see the light of day, to see the light of truth. And then and only then, are we able to really be the alchemist and a true manifester. And you find peace there, you find stability there. And again, I think that that's something that you oftentimes find with the Capricorn energy. Again, that's very much circulating right now in the middle of these eclipses. And you go from Capricorn to Cancer. Both of those signs are very security driven. And it's like it seems right now that one of the things that we're understanding is how Capricorn serves in an earthly realm to produce this sort of comfort and security that Cancer often very much craves, very much needs. But Cancer also very much has the ability to provide comfort to others. Cancer is the nurturer. So I think that you're seeing two very complementary, even though they're opposites, which kind of takes you back to the twin flame. I think I've seen so many times with eclipses over the years that they really do represent something very dynamic. We think in terms of opposites, that they're dynamically opposing, but oftentimes opposites are just two dynamic elements that when put together, complement very well, can go further than they could have gone alone, and it's not to say, each one is not complete, in themselves individually, and I think that is the same with the signs as well as, twin flames, as well as these significant relationships that we have. So I'm just gonna get that out there in terms of what seems to be playing out a lot in the energies right now. And it seems that there is something certainly in the energy. We're on the precipice of something. I definitely think that it's building up to the next eclipse that we'll be experiencing next week on the 10th. Something is definitely trying to play out. Fate seems to be playing a major part in this, and to me, fate is a force. Fate isn't like a decider. Fate isn't necessarily, somebody else or something else out there has decided what your life is to be. It's a very strong force, but there's a natural process to it, and it's cumulative. It's kind of mathematics. It's this element and this element and this element. Maybe you have many elements contributing to the aspect of fate, but things pushing and pulling on each other, because there is sort of this eventuality that comes very naturally. But these forces are strong, or forces that seem to just stay there no matter what takes place. A lot of things transform and change, and you grow and you learn. Things begin, things end, and certain things seem to have a way of staying the same, having a sort of like stronghold, which again is very descriptive of that Capricorn energy. We are, as human beings here, we are, working to be manifestors here on this planet, on this earth right now as human beings. I know in this community a lot of people, talk about spiritual aspects of things. The earth and nature is spirituality. There really is no differentiation. And eventually you understand that. And eventually you understand somehow, that in the physical world, all of these things like trickle down from what you might call like the physical dimension, or the physical dimension and the etheric dimension, or the 5D, 3D. And there's like an integration process. But it's electromagnetism, It's things pushing and pulling, shielding, and just draw. And for me, for instance, what I've come to experience and know in this twin flame journey is that there really is this person. There is this person who has always been there. I think that's the easiest thing for me to say to explain it. What I have come to understand now, the reason that he's always been there, which I really never understood. I did see him more as a fated aspect, something larger, something decided by someone else. But what I have come to understand, which I did not understand before, is that this person has always been there because really they choose to be where I'm at. They choose to be in my energy, and it is a draw. And it is that individual's choice, which I never really understood. It seemed, more arranged, but now I understand that it really does come back to love. And when you're in a twin flame journey, you basically get to see love in action. You see love come up against a lot of obstacles, a lot of adversity, and you get to see the action that love takes. You get to see love withstand and endure, many hardships and many injuries. You get to see love change a lot of these elements, change you, change your perspective, change your feelings, you end up you go over these things again and again, like certain lessons and certain feelings and certain injuries and things that you kind of get on a track, and you just like loop and you go over and over and over. But what's really happening is every time it's the same thing. Like if you were to be digging into the ground, you've got to take those top layers off first. You've got to take those top layers off to dig deeper. You can't get deep into the ground digging without taking those top layers off first. And if you weren't digging strategically, if you were to dig, really steep and just like straight down, you're probably going to collapse that hole in on yourself. So you probably don't want to do that either. But it's like, and honestly, we probably do that a lot. But it's like, these are all lessons. If you're on a twin flame journey, if you believe that you're on a twin flame journey, it's as a human being. It means that you are here as a human, learning human lessons. It's an integrative human process. And spirituality is there, but it's no different. It really is as above, so below. Did we come from a place where we knew all of these things? Maybe. But we were just in it, not applying it, if you think like in terms of like, for instance, like the angels, the angels are in agreement with each other. They have created and cultivated an environment of sort of singularity, and that creates, great reinforcement in terms of, what it is as a collective that you would be experiencing anywhere else. You think about the collective here, on this earth and humanity. Most people don't agree. Most people don't agree. A lot of people that would claim that somebody else is a twin flame, do not necessarily agree with each other. Masculine, feminine, they don't necessarily agree. Oftentimes they come from dynamically opposed backgrounds, locations in terms of geographically, families, education, spirituality, any of it. You can be very dynamically opposed. And, love always bridges the gap. And love also, while it's bridging the gap, fills in our understanding of things that we just lacked awareness of. It was sort of a lacking, and it's sort of completing us. It's building us up. It's showing us all of the areas, that we didn't quite have illuminated. So that's what I want to say about that. I am now, I'm going to do a spread for whoever it is that you might be thinking about. I'm going to be doing a relationship spread, and then I'm going to do a Celtic cross to kind of see, what we might experience in terms of providing a little bit of guidance with the energy that we're all going through. But I'm first going to do a spread just kind of showing where you and the person that you are thinking of might be at this current moment, and switch it around and do what you need to do, whatever makes sense for you in this reading. Doesn't have to be complicated. If it doesn't fit, don't try to force it. Don't go crazy trying to force it. Just go with the flow. If it serves you, if you find tools in it, absolutely use it. Even if it's just bits and pieces of it. Use your discernment, hone your discernment, and it will better serve you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this here, this spread. Yeah. I definitely think that one or both individuals are definitely in anticipation of something in regards to this relationship. There's some sort of an anticipatory energy that you may be having right now. You or your person, maybe both, but maybe I think one person more than the other. And I think that the reason that is because an action may be more up to one person versus the other. As in, someone is anticipatory of something taking place, some sort of action taking place. And there you go. And the other person is in anticipation, but anticipation of their own action. Because what I am seeing here is definitely some sort of action taking place. I mean, this is actually pretty clear as day. I would say that this might resonate for people who might not be in complete no communication. I would say that this is kind of speaking to me with people who might have at least a little bit of contact somehow. And it's possible also that there's no communication. It seems to me that someone has kind of, I'm seeing here that the person that you are dealing with has come to a place in themselves where they are being honest. They are being honest with themselves. If they were struggling with certain elements of just the truth within themselves in the past, maybe most likely how they felt about you. I think that they're being, wholly honest with themselves about it. They're owning it. They're owning their truth. They're owning their truth about their feelings. They're owning their truth about things that might have happened in the past between you and them, things that might have happened in their life surrounding events. I think that they are truly seeing things for what they are. They've embraced it, and they kind of understand. They are in this Emperor energy. And what I'm seeing with this Emperor energy is essentially they're sitting in their power. And what that means in a way is that honestly, I don't want to say it's like necessarily anticipatory, but they're looking at it kind of like the only control that they're going to have is kind of realizing that they have no control. That they did what they did in the past, and their only chance now is to kind of be able to manifest something, to fix something, that they broke. There was some sort of a breaking, but what this person would like to bring to their own heart. They broke their own heart. They would like to fix it. They would like to bring all of those tools, and I mean, the eclipses certainly bring us a lot of tools, don't they? But they want to be able to, bring peace to the situation, bring a flow and a fluidity and a calm to the situation that hasn't been there before. And I think that